Yeah, because I quit my job basically.
Oh,
So since July 1st, it was well doing still some work. Like I work 1 day in a week now,
mhm.
plus like some side projects like Safecast, but still very, I don't know, like it's weird. I'm kind of tired. I just want to take a little rest or something. So
That's very good.
that's what I
Yeah.
that's what I did basically. So
Well, that's nice. Nice to do because I recognize that. I used to work full time at a company, and then that was only 2 years. And I said, never in my life again, every day. I
right.
after that, I always been for the artist and small projects. And if there's no money, it's no money. So
Hmm,
it will come. It's not an issue for me.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
it comes. I
that's
mean,
the life.
it's amazing how things work out. I mean, I'm every day I'm surprised. Like, wow, what's going on? Exciting things, and it's good.
Yeah,
It
well,
makes
nice that it worked
it,
out for you, but
yeah, that
well,
works
I'll
for
have to
me.
see how it works out for me at some point.
Right?
But
You can have what's wrong? I mean, you can always go to your mama, back to mama for a day, and
I actually I am going to my mom's place for 2 months, starting next week because she is going to Canada for 2 months, and
oh
uh, yeah, I have to take care of the cats.
yeah,
So
well, and I could feel that. You go back to, but no, I'm joking. But why she's going to Canada?
just visiting family, friends.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. In which area? Toronto or?
Yeah, it's in Ontario. She grew up in Sarnia, so she has a lots of friends there. And Sarnia is like at the border with the US,
Mhm.
uh, at the south of Lake Huron. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
no,
okay.
it's a nice area. This time she won't go camping. She's just like going visiting friends like all over. She has many friends from her childhood and
And that's
after, like so.
oh, that's good. That's going to
Mm.
be a nice trip. Nice for her. She can do that.
Yeah, she tries to do that like every 2 years or something at least. So keep in
Okay, good.
contact.
And you have your time with the cats, so that's good too.
Well, I already have one cat. I kind of
I
claimed it,
know.
but the other cat is like an outside cat, so he cannot live here.
Oh,
So I
I
have
see.
to go. Let's go to my mom's place, which is fine.
Hmm.
So it's a nice place to be.
Okay.
I'll take like my computer and all, like
Yeah,
settle in for a few months. Yeah.
that's nice. Hi, Louis. Sorry, we were talking.
No, no, I was listening. I have not been to Sarnia. It's kind of far from me. It's about 4 hour drive or something like that.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah, and if you go north, there's a whole the Lake Huron shoreline, which
Yeah.
is really nice. Anyway, yeah, no, I turned off my video because my internet connection is still crappy. So sorry.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if Michael is coming, or did you hear anything yet?
I haven't seen anything from him. Um, no, nothing,
Okay.
nothing. Um, I do note that he has been active,
Yes, I saw.
especially dealing with that naming bug.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
By the way, did you get the latest update from that? I mean, I tried to compile it, but I'm getting errors. I just tried it
oh, I
a
see.
few hours ago, and that's it.
Hmm.
I roll back.
No, I haven't tried it. I will try it. That whole uh, these points just going off into uh, you know kilometers away. Wanted to try something. There's a couple of places that have it's basically new development, and there's like a 5 story hotel in the middle of nowhere, which is good for testing because I'm just gonna park the unit right beside the hotel on each side, and then go to an open field and compare that. And I just want to see if it's because of the reflections. Like Rob, you're mentioning that you're in Tokyo, and again, that's the urban canyons. I think what we really need is a way, not necessarily in the user menu, because that's probably dangerous, but in the setup when we activate the GPS connector to actually send a configuration and say, okay, we're going to be turning this on, turning this on. So we actually know what's being turned on rather than just a default or whatever state it was left at last time we played with the test bed. Just to know what's going on. And I still like the idea of setting it up per region, right? And it just doesn't have to be crazy, but Europe, Europe, Africa, Middle East, it would be one slice. The Americas another slice, and then Asia Pacific, right? Again, because I'm worried about that looking at these stationary satellites at a very oblique angle, right? And then you've got the whole ionospheric.
But the thing is, I never saw that with the nano.
I think it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Yeah, I noticed it on the cast when we were working on it. At least here at my place as well. Like if it's stationary, I was in a windowsill, it would just like walk away. Like GPS would like take walks around the area basically, like it would in straight lines as well. So I recognize the like as a stationary unit that it just drifts off once in a while and then just pops back, and that's fine. So that's basically why we made the fixed mode with like the setup location, and if a point is within the range, then we just send us that point. That was basically to make sure that drifting is not affected, or like with like a normal stationary sensor on the map. But then there was this the one issue.
But the thing is that Jan also had these issues with an M8 on the Czech rod, I think, one of the devices that they make, and he had similar issues. Somebody was complaining about it.
Okay,
so
it's interesting.
It's maybe U-block related.
I'm just wondering if I think we're spoiled by our smartphones because the smartphones do all sorts of corrections. They're getting geolocation information from the cell tower. They may also do some recording of all the ephemeris data and all that to give it a quick boost. And for all I know, they're filtering out these wonky points. Smartphones have been around since like say 10 or 15 years, so they've had lots of time to get those customer visible bugs out of the system. And how they do it is, well, they'll never tell us. So we're arriving kind of late to the party and trying to catch up on 15 years of very active development. So I think just minimize and move on. So the idea of
what I noticed, Louis, as I mentioned before, if the HDOP is higher than 500, sometimes the errors occur. But if it's lower, it doesn't happen. So if we
did you check the Wikipedia it sent? It's actually not 500. It's actually 5 at that point.
5? Oh,
but it's written as 500 to keep the precision as an integer.
Right.
But yeah, if it's above 5, which is in the log as 500, it's you can basically discard it or use it as like an indication marker. That's what the description said about the DOP.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The actual definition is if you have a DOP of 1, let's say your precision in time. Let's say you can get down to a 1 meter resolution, which is like, like a fraction of a nanosecond timing. Then, and your DOP is 1, it's 1 times 1 meter. If your DOP is 2, it's 2 times 1 meter. And in other words, it determines the width of the circle or the sphere of uncertainty due to the geometry of the satellites. So if the satellites are in a single plane and the time of arrival from each satellite is exactly the same because the distance, the actual distance from the receiver to each satellite is exactly the same, there's no time difference to compute a solution. So that's the big flaw of or the downside of GPS. So if however, let's say one is strictly overhead and one is just coming up over the horizon and the third or fourth one at various locations, then all of a sudden you've got different times of arrival, and the calculation doesn't go crazy with tiny little differences, right? It's one of those things, and so so if we're dealing with 500, then a DOP, that would be a DOP of 5.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a reasonable cutoff. Maybe log it in the journal, but not in the log file.
Yeah. And then just mark it as not valid.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that would be great if we can set it up. And maybe in beginning, maybe like what you were suggesting, put it in the settings so you can modify it and test other things. But this was my observation. About 500, then something can happen.
again,
I mean, with the
So I admit-
QGIS software, you can just easily filter stuff out. This is great. I mean,
yes.
thank you for mentioning it to me. I was completely forgotten about the software, Louis.
Yeah. And we'll have to thank Jan for letting us know about
Yes,
that table.
Jan did
That's
that, yes.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's step 1. Step 2 is knock out anything over 5, and step 2 is for sure configure it. So I can look at that. Just the Michael's library makes it super easy to add a little. Not too sure how to do that, because when you activate, you don't get any data quite right away, right? It's only when you poll the GPS connector that you find out what your actual thing is.
So maybe Michael has an idea about it too. So let's
Yeah.
play him before we can make
Yeah.
some ideas.
Yeah, the question is,
point?
well, so when you first activate the GPS connector, it does its connection and figures out the protocol and moves on from there. But you only find out your position, position when you poll, when you get data. Oh, here's Michael.
Well, we said that it sent it automatically every second. So
Yes. Well, yeah, but when the controller asks for data to display it on the screen, that's the first time you find out, like the system, quote unquote, the system finds out that what the actual position is. And that's where you'd be in a position, like you'd know what to set. So I'm not too sure. So where do like, in other words, where do we insert this little wedge or this little side trip in the architecture?
you mean the check if it's above 5?
No, I'm talking about
Or-
figuring out what.
An automatic function that's
No,
being
okay.
executed. So
Maybe
it
in the
should
menu?
probably be in the satellite view. When you open the menu,
Yeah.
go to like select set of satellite set, I use.
Okay.
Then we have a screen. This is currently in my mind, and I'm like kind of working on that right now. So,
Okay.
my idea was to have like a few presets,
Yep.
which would be Europe, Asia, or East Asia, West Asia, Americas.
Yep.
We can discuss those presets.
Yeah.
At that point, entering that view, the device would then pull the module, what is enabled, what is disabled, and then if it is not overlapping with one of the presets, it would be a custom, and then custom would show like, well, this is currently set. You can set it to
Yeah.
a different preset, but you cannot change it individually, or maybe we can, but
Yeah.
it would add more functions. So at some
Yeah.
point we can add it, but the idea is that I have in my head to allow the user to use a preset, or at least view what the current set is on the module.
Yeah.
And
That
then
makes sense.
you can always like play with it with the other program from Michael. And then if you go to the satellite view, you view like the setup. You can see, oh, I'm currently not using one of the presets. I'm using a custom, which uses these and these and these satellites, but I'd like to change to Europe. And then
Okay.
I press Europe, and, like sends all the
Okay.
Makes it very
commands.
simple and very clear. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
want to, you know what you're doing, and then you can just not take the preset. It's great.
And I think the final touch would be a default that we know is generic, maybe not the most accurate, but just turn off. You know, I want to find out from Cyrus in Ireland if turning off SBAS made a difference.
Oh, talking about Cyrus, I think he's very good, and I kind of asked him to join our team if he wants to. So
Yeah, I saw that.
hope you all agree because he seemed to be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's certainly very interested. So, I mean, that's always a good sign.
But also he has an amazing background of Grafana, and I want him also to ask things about it. We talked about other things too.
Well,
right,
if he
good
already
stuff.
has a Zen, he's
Yeah, that's
already
it.
interested, right? That's
Yes.
step
Yeah,
one.
definitely.
There are a few more, but I think he's the most promising candidate. Let's say this. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's a plan. Michael, you just joined us. Hello.
Yeah.
We're kind of talking about all the
Michael.
GPS stuff.
Hello, Michael.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, we saw you're listening, but not.
Yeah. So just to bring you back to bring up to speed, we're talking about the whole GPS thing.
Yeah,
With the points that go walking off into the distance, and so that's the one issue. So what I plan on doing is just going to, there's a couple of tall buildings in my area out in the middle of nowhere, right there. The rest is low-rise buildings, and just basically park it there for a few minutes.
Can you go in, Louis? Can you go in the building?
Into the building? Yeah,
Yes.
well, it's a hotel, so I'll just go, well, I'm gonna have
because-
to go in anyway, talk to the manager to explain why I'm just gonna be hanging around this hotel for 10 minutes.
Otherwise you got somebody is only in
Yeah, all of a
behind
sudden
you.
this gentleman in uniform might want to have a chat with me. So yeah, I can try there as well.
Okay.
And it turns out there's 2 such hotels in the area, so if one says no, probably the other one will be okay.
But being honest, I've seen that also sometimes happening is one time I saw that it was a very slope on the mountain where it just couldn't hit it. And then one point out of the whole line of maybe 6,000 points, one went off.
Oh, that's what your train ride is what you're mentioning.
No, not in the train ride. It was in the car, and it was in the
Okay.
valley, and then there was a mountain. I don't know how it happened, but one of them suddenly pump 500, and then kunk, nothing.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
that's what at least was my observation.
Yeah. So the other thing, Michael, that we were talking about is just basically knocking out any readings with a DOP of 5 or 500,
Right.
and just just maybe journaling it but not logging it.
Mhm.
Or
Michael, do you have any idea about how the nano internally does it? Because I have seen it less on. I mean, I haven't seen it, but Jella mentioned on the nano sometimes it drifts also. Do you know how
But
they
the
handle that?
the Nano is an MTK chip, is
Yes,
it not?
complete different chip. I know that.
Yeah.
Well,
And
the Nano, most people use the Nano for drives and not as a stationary sensor, so you wouldn't see it that much, I would assume.
I've seen it also when I was at the Safe Pass Opens, because that was the whole line going up. I was inside, and there's hardly any GPS lock in that area. Only the Zen could lock. The other nanos did not lock at all.
So, and on the Zen, you would then see the
And
issue
these-
also as a stationary, because you are stationary. But, I did see it on the Nano with the bGeigieZen cast here as well, as I mentioned. So I think the Zen has a better GPS, has a better log, and then once stationary, you would see it more often.
That's
But I
true.
I
Much
don't
more
see an
data
issue
coming.
if we check the DOP, do some calculations, maybe like if the DOP is higher while in stationary mode or real-time mode, and you're still within range, it should be fine. Or if it's like getting outside of range, can still say, well, if it's like a super high DOP, we can still say, well, you're probably in range because I don't know, something like that. But if you're on the move, I think the chances that you get high DOP values is very low.
That's
Like you mentioned, you had 1 point out of 6,000. You can
Yeah.
probably drop that, or
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, you can see from those two plots that I showed you guys, you can see the difference between just from having the unit on your windowsill. Oh, first of all, I don't have a Nano, so I have no background on that at all. But you can see the difference between having it on the windowsill versus having it just 2 meters off the edge of my house.
That was a big difference I saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it nice pictures?
Yeah. It just gives you an idea. So at some point we just have to stop. A lot of this stuff is anecdotal. It depends on where the satellites are when you're doing particular measurements. Stop comparing Nano and Zen and just work with what we have. And I heard when I joined the discussion about putting some of those features from the test bed into the Zen for setting up satellites, setting up which GNSS you want to enable. And that's all fine. One of the things I would add into that is just the ability to reset the device, because
Good point.
Cirrus was doing the same thing that I was doing. He was going in and trying all different kinds of settings using uCenter, and it's a rabbit hole that you just wind up reset the GPS module, pick your GNSS systems that you want enabled, and go from there and just live with whatever it is, because there's nothing we can do about it except for
Is there a
processing.
function to do a factory reset?
Yeah, so it's built into the test bed. It's actually, and I didn't want to make it a main feature. I didn't, but it's in there, and it's obviously the library supports reset, a full factory reset back to factory settings.
Okay, that's very useful.
Yeah, sorry, I've been disconnected. I have a lot of work that had to happen around the house, and I'm
Yes.
finally back.
But you were still replaying and contributing.
Well, I wasn't for a while there, and finally, that whole thing with the label. Uh, once I found it, I go, oh my gosh.
Was it hard to find, or
What I did was what I did was I did a log, and then I basically took the navsat message in hex, I just did it. I did it manually. I sorted. I just picked a packet, and then I looked at it and I resorted the packet, and I go, everything looks fine except for the label on the GNSS type, and then I went back and looked at the car. I said, it's got to be right in this spot, and there it was.
Mhm.
So
By the way, the latest version with the update didn't compile for me. I don't know why, but I tried it a few hours ago.
of the test bed,
Didn't compile. I don't know. But
it's compiling for me. Literally the only thing I changed was that library. So
yeah, I saw what you did, but
Yeah.
couldn't figure out so quickly why it was giving me errors.
right.
I will check later.
Yeah.
I set the new version in the platform IO on the Zen, but the code doesn't compile, but that's because of my work. So
Okay.
I'm like tinkering on like the screens and the menu, just making it a bit more useful. But it doesn't compile yet, so I haven't tested it yet.
Right.
But I'll update it as soon as it's done. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
Did you make progress on the unified library, Yella, or?
yeah, some progress, but I put it on hold for
Yeah,
a
other
bit.
things are more.
So
Yeah, that's fine. Whenever
it is
you have
still a
time.
step, and this one still works. In my mind, it's like some low priority issue, but it would be nice to migrate to it for the SE S3.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that would be easier for the next versions. For version 4, I think I would like to run on the S3, but that's one more batch, and then I think we're starting for the 4 versions. Today I've been struggling all day with troubleshooting the new board, and I could say. Hold on a second, let me switch the thing off. Now, on the new board, you can take the DPS off. It cut it cut nice small connectors on it. So this way I can prepare them for them, and they don't have the problem with soldering. It goes on, and then
That's wonderful.
yes. So I'm experimenting still, but it's technically possible. With I'm using connectors from chips.
Right.
And it fit in there, and it works fine.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna use connectors as well for the next build,
Yeah.
Even if it's not like the way to go, or maybe it is. But I just want to be able to take off the GPS unit
yes, I think
and,
so.
and plug on
So
something
this
else.
this is essential, being honest, because if you want to troubleshoot under, all the connectors are under.
Right.
There is no other connector here open, so it's all safe behind the GPS. So even the plus 4 volt is the plus from the battery is here. It's much safer.
I put the socket on the main board and the pins on the module for the reason that I can now use a little serial interface cable from a Raspberry Pi to connect that to the U center Right. So
They're using
they're tr-
Ethereum, not I2C.
it doesn't have I2C. This is TX and RX. Or does
TX, that's all. Yeah, that
Yeah.
should be fine.
Yeah.
And I did also, when I was building the new boards, I was doing the
Mhm.
testing with the Poco pins, and Louis'
Yeah.
drive didn't work. Not
Oh
as good
no.
as I expected.
Sorry to
Well,
hear that, but
No.
that-
That was good to mention it because I've been trying, and I came up with only with just the connector like this, and then
Yeah.
plug the other part, plug it in the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That works fine. That works very good.
Yes.
And this is a special version. It has a crowbar on it, and no other
Oh,
thing.
I see. Okay.
But
So
I'm
this
still experimenting with this one.
this is
Yeah.
was that the version with the automotive fuse? The crowbar?
What?
The crowbar with the automotive fuse, the
Yes,
car.
yes, it's
Yeah,
here.
okay.
It's a
That's the
car
one.
fuse, 2 amp.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
difficult to see. It's a 2 amp fuse. You can just pull it out and put it in. If you
Yeah, okay.
do the reverse the battery, then it will pop.
Okay. And
Can
that's
you-
and so in other words, there's no 4056 module on there. So
It's very simple, and it works very well.
Okay, so the problem I had, can you show me how the GPS module connects?
It's a.
Oh, you put the socket, I did it the opposite direction. Okay, so, you have, those connector, those
There's a little bit
sockets,
different.
yes.
Yes. a little
Yeah,
bit
because
Yeah,
if you
those
use the
are-
others, if you use the other, the normal, the regular
different. Yeah, they
DuPont
don't fit.
connectors, it's too high.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's what my problem was too. That's why I say, oh, I have those chip connectors. They fit too. And
right.
if you have the right version, the other side is isn't double. Oh, hold a second, you cannot see that. It's a
Right.
double.
oh yeah.
So it goes through, and I made a mistake on the board, so I had to pick one of the pin have to cut off. There's a plus going to the SLA. That's
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah, that was not so good. We both missed that one, Louis.
Oh wow.
But that I figured it out easy. It didn't work, so took it off. And then I looked at the board. Oops, we missed one. It's basically I can show you on another one. It's not so important. On the next version board, it will be fixed. It's basically the fuse. This fuse, how to say, this small.
Yeah.
Let's see that. This
Yeah, I
fuse
see.
holder here.
Yeah,
It touches the SDA line here.
Oh,
Just touch it, and then it goes cook.
sorry, I missed that one too. Wow.
We maybe both missed it. So
Yeah.
Was it easy to spot? Like, if you now look at
measuring
the board,
Yeah, I was measuring the board, and then there's some short there. And then finally, I first hooked up all the wires to the N5 stack, so I make extension to see which wire was doing it. Oh, the SLA, the SDA cable makes it short. So
yeah, and that shuts things down pretty quick.
yeah, that stops. No display, not anything. But nothing get burned, so that was good. No fires this time. So it's okay.
Good. Yeah, because I'm looking at the Gerber right now and I don't see, I mean, it looks fairly clear.
It's
don't
only
know.
on the F.
Oh, I see it now. Yep. I see it now. I
Yeah,
see
you
it
can see it.
now.
Yeah.
Show hide all layers except for on the copper. No.
Yeah, but that's it's very obvious if you see it. Another thing I'm working on the safe pulse to get all the parts for the new batch of the safe pulse together. And that's going to be a safe pulse with I2C on it. So
Okay, I see it now. Oh, so you can actually put the little counter chip onto the
Yes.
safe pulse.
on the pulse, yes.
Okay.
The board is.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for some chips to come to JCL. JLC, sorry, JLC.
Oh, yeah.
And if they arrive, we let the board make and test them out.
Okay. So, oh, yeah, I see it now. I can share a screen if you want.
Yeah,
Sure.
I would like to see it.
Okay, hang on. Share
Mm,
screen.
learn
Where am
from
I?
it.
Yes.
There he is. Share. So you can see right here.
That's him. Yeah.
That's the
Oh.
pad for. So if I zoom out, you can see this is the pad. This is the footprint for the fuse, and we're on the top side copper. So if you look, and I was just looking at the bottom side copper,
Yeah, that looks
which looks
fine.
great.
Yeah.
So it's just that pad just a little bit too much. I'm surprised KiCad didn't flag that as a design rule check.
They don't
So-
do that.
They don't do design rule checks. Okay,
No.
that's
That's up to you.
yeah. I was using a professional system earlier when I was at the college, and it would just jump that out at you and sort of, you know, stick its finger out and sort of wag its finger at you, saying, "Oh, you have a DRC error here."
Oh,
but,
but the KiCad can do it if you run the tool for it.
Okay, well, maybe we should.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. I used to do that. All the
Okay.
small errors
Well,
can
you
be
get too
out.
many errors.
Yeah, too many errors. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh. Well, that's
Yeah, there's small
I
errors,
don't know.
or like, oh, there's a graphic 2 millimeters too close, and there's a
Mm,
what's that?
I mean, it would be good to run it at least.
Yeah, that's true. I've done that so many times. I said, if it don't make too many boards yet. Try it first and see, and if it works, then it's done. And then probably the other problems show up. But thanks for sharing, Louis. Oh, he's out.
press the wrong button. Leave instead of stop sharing. That happens. We got 1.5 minutes left, I see.
Yeah. I just want to say we have other things to talk.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. My system crashed.
Okay, but you're back quickly, so that's good. And we
Yeah,
have a minute
So
left.
I'm just gonna I'm
Do
gonna
you have
unshare.
something,
Is
Louis, or
am I still
Michael?
sharing the screen? No, I'm not.
No.
Okay. Anyway, that was interesting. So, I don't have anything to add.
Okay. Michael has something more, or
No, I wanted to put in build a tool. I hadn't had the time to monitor satellites to actually go out and try different configurations and see reception, but I'll start working pulling that together.
thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. And then, of course, we have some people who can test for us in the various regions.
Right.
Surely
is,
Cyrus can
Yeah.
test for you. He,
Cyrus and Philip as well.
yeah, Philip too.
But I also understand that a lot of if you're in an apartment situation, you have no choice but a windowsill application, and in those situations, you're going.
Thank
Can you
you.
hear me?
But let's wait for Louis if he comes back.
Yes.
Yeah, there he comes. Yeah. So Michael, can you continue what you want to say? You're working on it.
I was just saying that you know, have to temper expectations when a person is using this in a windowsill as to what that that gets back to fixed mode and the user letting the application know that it's in fixed, that the device is in a fixed location. So
But if it's in a fixed location, then well, like what Jelle was saying, then we should just manually be able to input the coordinates,
right.
or the GPS GPS, and then apply these settings.
Right. And I've messed with the settings in the GPS module itself related to that, and I don't know. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth the time or messing with that, because especially if you're going to use the device in multiple modes, fixed and traveling, you're just better off filtering the results from the module rather than trying to use the module to do the filtering for you.
I agree.
I think one of the points that I'm not sure if it's if we're talking about that before you came in. We've been spoiled by smartphones because they do all. I mean, they've got a 15-year head start on us at least, or something
Right.
like that, and if not 20. And so they've done all these, customer or consumer visible tweaks, and they can also use, use the cell towers, etc., to assist the GPS.
Right.
So I think it's raised everybody's expectations, and here we come along 15 years later trying to catch up. So I think that's probably not worth the effort in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, and you had made that comment to me, I think, in our private chats, trying to sort through this,
Yes,
and go,
yes.
that's a very good point. Very good point.
I think the
So,
most
yeah.
important part is if it works on the road and it's accurate enough, like for drives, that's good enough. And for like real-time mode and the fixed mode, we can work with like a range
Right.
to your configured location. You can even make it easier to set the configured location, maybe from the page or from the view itself, like use current location as fixed, and then you wouldn't have to go to configurations, like config server, maybe. I don't know. There's always like ways to make it easier for the user to configure their device. But I think the way we have it now is good enough for use of all modes.
Right.
Mhm.
And you have your DOP to go back, to fall back on if you're looking at some strange results, if it matters.
Yep. Yeah, it's in the log, so
Yeah.
and we,
Yeah.
I mean, now with the extra setting that we can flag measurements as invalid if the DOP is higher than a specific value, we can still log it and then just void it, like the measurement won't count, or still, I don't know, depending on the
Right.
configuration. So
Okay.
Okay. Good.
All right.
And
I got something. I don't know if you can see it. This isn't kind of a tangent. Can you see that display? Or is it blurry?
yeah, it's a little bit blurry, but I think there's a graph on it.
Yeah, it's a graph. What it is it's the water usage from our well. It monitors it. And it's the flow meters are very expensive, turns out. But what I do is you have with a well, you charge up the bladder tank and then it slowly drains. And what I did was I mapped pressure readings versus water usage. And so as it discharges, you get it tells you how much water you're using, and it's a graph over 30 hours. So if you have a leaky toilet, or if there's water, somebody left water running, you get an alert. If you're using too much water, our water is very we have a fixed allowance, so don't run a washing machine, don't run the dishwasher for this period of time. This led to a problem with our septic field being saturated and all these other issues. So,
Oh, interesting project.
yeah.
Fun of
And
country
then-
living.
And then when it charges, if it takes too long to charge, the longer it takes to charge, I know that water's being used while it's charging. So it monitors that as well.
Mm-hmm. And you have
Cool.
enough water in the well to always pull out? I don't know the water.
We can run our well dry if we use more than if we use more than the average American. I mean, I forget how much a person uses, how much water is used per person per day. It's a ridiculous amount. We are much more frugal than that, but
Yeah, we also we we are maybe 20 liters maximum.
right. We're around I liters versus gallons. We're around 50 to 80 gallons for a household of 3 per day.
That's yeah, I can imagine it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's very easy because I don't have a water toilet. I have a sawdust toilet. So
Oh, nice.
that's no
Right.
water in there.
Yeah. So
Other
sorry.
thing? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just that's one of the things that I was developing at the same time we were running into issues, and then we have other projects going on. So that's why. So I apologize for missing a meeting and then
No,
showing
no,
up
no,
late here.
no, no. I mean,
No
that's
problem.
fine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's no problem. You do a lot of work, so
yeah. Plus a
you
big
need
truck
to-
drove down the road and just yanked out our internet cable. That was the meeting ago. We're waiting to I got internet back. Yeah.
time for satellite.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter has
Then
satellite.
a big rainstorm or a thunderstorm that knocks it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It's always something.
Yeah.
And another thing I'm working on, getting Grafana back online. I'm discussing with Elastic team to get the connection restored, but they're kind of slow and they're not really responding yet. So I hope to get it fixed so we can use Grafana again for displaying the data.
So this would be in the meantime of getting something to replace the map infrastructure that Apple Mac
Yes, that's
server.
also it's still on in the making.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in helping with that because that's really
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that you were interested in helping with that.
well, it's going to be I'm kind of shifting to more infrastructure. I was talking, I think I mentioned it last week, I'm talking to the provincial Green Party, whatever, like they send an alert, like send this letter to your member of parliament, I'd get a server crash. And so I mentioned that to the main fundraising guy who, somebody I know. And he says, "Oh, I didn't realize that was happening." And then he started looking into it. And next thing you know, it's like, "Hey, would you like to help us?" So, they're just doing the paperwork now to make it all good and official, even though it's volunteer. There's all sorts of rules around elections around here, so which is fine. I'm not complaining. But they're asking for about 5 hours 5 hours a week on average. So sometimes it's going to be more if we're onto something, and sometimes so. But I think my interest in this is, like now that the Zen is more or less stable, it's starting to look at displaying that data and make, and getting that wow factor back to the general user. It's like, hey, I just did this drive and it shows up on the map, and that's always very satisfying.
Yes, that's a very powerful thing. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean,
and-
anytime when I show real-time data to people, they go like, "This
Yeah.
directly on the map." Yeah, that's what real-time data is about.
Yeah. So
And you can see where I've been.
yeah, that's right.
And then 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I still show the one that I drove to Peterborough, and there's a hotspot just out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the secret government lab. So,
Yeah, that's a very good one to show to people too. Yeah, if you have the data.
but it's just random, right? So
Mhm.
anyway, so so just to let you know, I'm interested in that whole infrastructure side of things. Not so much
Okay,
Grafana.
but
I don't think Grafana. I mean, it's great for us to to view what's going on, but I think it's a little bit too cumbersome for the average user.
yeah,
Being
that's
able
true.
to
Yeah.
put it back on the Google Maps, I think is brilliant because everybody can access. Everybody understands how that works.
Yeah. No, in real time, we used to have Google Maps for the map the data, and
Okay.
but I think we still have an API key for that if you want that, if you want to play with that. But the problem
Sure.
is to get the data out of the Postgres, and then having it fast enough coming out to show on a map, and do the tiling and all the things
Right.
around.
Right.
It's not that simple. And
Okay.
the map used to be very nice, but you can, if you want to, you can look at the map the way Nick made it. It's in GitHub. If you want a link, I can show you links too.
Yeah, please.
And Stephen Thiel is working on another map, but it's still very primitive, and he doesn't have time.
Okay. Yeah, if you put me in touch with them, that'd be great. And
I will do that. Yeah, that would be wonderful if you could help. Because
Yeah.
we need a map to go back. That's all I have for coming week and what I've done. So,
yeah, me
Yep.
too. Also, good job with the shipping out those Zens.
thank you.
Yeah,
It's a
it
lot
looks
of work.
it looks like a little production line.
It is. They come out in batches, and the post office, and then it doesn't get delivered. And we had to deliver it to Germany, and the German post refused to give it to the person because the name was not the same as the company. The telephone number, everything was correct, but the name was not the same. They sent it back.
No, no.
Amazing. No flexibility, but that's good. I mean, that's the way they work. So we have to work around that.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And the
All right,
people
well,
at
have
the
a good
post
week.
office, were always wondering what kind of stuff does he send? And then I showed them the Geiger account and the whole story. And then a few weeks ago, I showed them a video that postman was measuring for safecast. We did it in the Iwaki, and there's a video
Yes.
by NHK about that. And then when they showed the video, they said, "Wow, the post is helping you for these kind of things." I said, yeah, they did, and you're helping me too. You're a part of that team. And they were like, we are free.
Proud.
They were so happy.
All right.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay,
Guess
so-
that's
have
it for today then.
Yeah. Have a great week, everyone.
Yes,
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.